We're on Derelict Watcher, ladies and gentlemen, and spawning in the bottom left position as the green Zerg player representing Team Dignitas here in this qualifier. We'll see how well he can hold up. He's one game down. He needs to win the next two, but if he does, he goes to Shanghai. We have Tefel. And his opponent spawning in the top right position as the teal Zerg player, ladies and gentlemen. He is one game up, and he just needs to win this one to qualify. Will he be able to do it? From Russia, we have VP's Ben Q, sLivko.
I didn't ask you game number one, so I'm going to ask you game number two. I love putting you on the spot like this, man, because you're closer to these players than I am.
Let's do it.
Who do you want to go to China?
Tefel.
That was quick.
And it was quick because I've seen sLivko at Intel Extreme Masters event before. He's like totally used to it all. He's just a really, really solid player, and I think he'll make a very, very good showing if he goes to Shanghai. But I'd like to see Tefel at more offline events. I think, I genuinely believe he's quite underrated, and I'd love for him to get a bit more in terms of opportunity as well.
All right, well, here we go.
So purely on that point of view, not in terms of gameplay. As far as that's concerned, whoever wins this definitely deserves to go. But I do want to see Tefel at more offline events.
Of course, of course. Now, in terms of openers here, we're seeing the exact same builds from game number one. Hatch first from sLivko, and an early pull from Tefel. Tefel, again, playing a little bit more safe in game number two.
All right, so, well, once again, let's see if sLivko ends up trying to... Maybe he sees this and just tries to go as greedy as possible, maybe holding on to earlier bases, trying to drone up just a little bit more than his opponent. We saw, like you mentioned last game, that sLivko's style really trying to just squeeze out a little bit of an economic advantage to see if he can use that to get ahead in the mid-game there. What do you think of that?
It's really interesting decision making. It just shows you the type of players these guys are, what stylistically they want to do, how confident they are in these matchups, or in how confident they are against their opponents. It really all just comes down to you know, the personality of the player and you know how that translates into their play. I like the way both these guys have been playing this entire series, though. It just shows you, you know, what kind of player they are overall, and there's no right and wrong. Like there's not like sLivko's playing the right way and Tefel's playing the wrong way. You know, they're just both playing the way they want.
And on this particular map as well, Zoya, do you have, like, this is one of the very newest maps to join the map pool here. Is there anything in particular that you feel is particularly strong on this map, or anything in particular, even in other matchups, that you think this map isn't so good at?
You know, this is a really big map. It's not really has any super imbalances. In ZVZs, you don't really see too many all-ins here. Yes, this is a big entrance to the ramp, but your creep spread covers almost the entire entrance here. You can wall off with evolution chambers. You can get spine crawlers off. The entrance to your main base isn't so far away from your natural to where you can wall off with your queens and not be in range to defend as well. So for all-in purposes in this matchup, you don't see it too often. You know, this is a pretty big macro map. As for the other stats on this map, you know, there's the fourth base can be difficult for players to take. It is very far away from your natural and third base. For a Zerg player, as long as you spread your creep, you should be fine. But this map plays out a lot like a Daybreak would, in the sense that you can take every map on the base. The higher the number the map is, the more exposed it is to counterattacks. But you can safely just expand it to anywhere, really.
All right, well, we'll see if we might be able to get into a late-game situation where that kind of thing actually does happen. ZVZ, of course, incredibly volatile, and, well, these players are going to be looking as much as possible to maximize what they can squeeze out of this large map. And so far, of course, no moves to take that early third. We have Baneling Nest going down for both of them. We can see the layers have now started a little bit faster once again for sLivko, who's using that Baneling Nest just for a little bit of early defense there, not going aggressive at all.
You know, this is kind of like a mirror of the mid game here from both these guys. Tefel kind of changing up his style a little bit here, being a little bit more greedy, whereas sLivko, you know, playing almost the exact same here. He actually got a spine collar much quicker here, but we'll have to see how this is going to play out. Tefel, really interested to see if he's going to go for the fast infestors. I'm not a fan of the immediate infestor type play. but we'll have to see if that's what he wants to do. We're seeing Spire again from sLivko.
All right, so sLivko going to be going for it once again with the Spire. We'll see if this ends up paying dividends for him. We can also see that Tefel does have an Overlord in position to spot the timing of the third base here. In the meantime, sLivko has not scouted the third base location, is sending a single Ling on the way. Ooh, and we'll be wasting that for a Baneling. To be fair, decent trade there, but he hasn't spotted it. The third is down for his opponent.
You know, I'm really proud of Tefel. Well, I guess not proud. I'm really impressed with Tefel, would be the best way to say it. He is confident in his Infestor play. You know, it's not the normal right now. It's not the normal response for dealing with Mutos. It's not the normal response for doing with the Roach Hydra play. But he is confident with this style, and even though he lost game number 1, he is sticking with it. He's sticking to his guns, and that's really cool to see. I hope it works out. But we do have a small engagement here. Some Lings going up against Lings, trying to deny the third base here up to Tefel. Banelings do come forward. Gets 2 connects on only 1 Baneling. That's the best check. That was a much better connect here. Some drones going to be targeted down. More Lings in production for Tefel. He should be able to hold his third base with a few drone losses.
Yeah, Tefel currently, he's at 70 supply versus the 60 of sLivko, and he does have a little bit of a slender workload. He's 53 to 49, but that's because he's actually forced a decent number of units out. The army supply for sLivko is considerably larger than that for Tefel at this moment in time, and I wonder if he's going to be using that just to try and be a little bit more aggressive. He's had a limited amount of success so far. He's killed 3 workers at the moment, and it's possible that he may want to try and go for a bit more. He's actually ahead by 10 workers, and at this stage of the game, Zoid, just before the 10-minute mark as well, that's actually pretty big as the mutas now start to pop out.
Yeah, you know, everything, especially in ZVZ, out of all the mirror matchup, I feel this one's the most important, where the harvester count is the most important. And we take a look, you know, it's such a big deal for Tefel right now that he has that lead. And the fact that he has a harvester lead right now and not a supply lead shows how much more army that sLivko has on the field. This is going to be such a powerful push here. And Tefel currently supply blocked. He's got 5 investors out, or about to be out. The Scorecard does take down one of the mules. He's going straight into the third base here. Needs to be careful, and this just shows you the new power of the Spore Crawler. You can't even go under them for a second, or you immediately lose, and Mutila's stuff dies so fast.
Oh man, this is a lot of pressure coming in from sLivko right now. Tefel is going to have to try and hold a very nice fungal growth on the Banelings though, but he doesn't quite kill them off. There's still 1 hit left in both of them, and as a result, managing to let a bit of a trade there, just managing to trade for a couple more units. We see the mutas just recuperating outside. It's 89 to 82 supply right now, 64 to 56 workers in sLivko's favor. And well, as the dust settles, we can see a bunch of Lings moving in towards the main base as well. Tefel having to defend on multiple fronts here and losing a couple of drones in the process. Not what you want to do when you're already behind.
Playing so well this week, or today. Tefel holding off that push very, very well. The thing is, though, during the back round of this, sLivko was droning up so hard. He ended up getting a harvester lead 70 to 57. He is going to be set on drones for the rest of the game and have leftovers to where he can make spine crawlers up to defend his bases. There is a small Ling run by coming to this third base here. Going to see the saturation of what's going on, and realize that sLivko has an economic lead right now. He's actually not moving his Lings to the middle line. Going to end up going in now, trying to do as much damage as he possibly can. Confirms that he is at least mining gas from there. Hydra Den on the way for Tefel, sticking to his guns, and a really quick high up here from sLivko. Pretty much the same strategy from game number 1.
Now, is this Hydra Den, Zoya, going to be out fast enough to prevent these mutas from doing a bit of damage, especially with some Lings underneath them? I could see the Lings trying to keep the Infestors occupied while the mutas maybe dart around and see if they can sneak into a base or two. Do you think that Tefel will be able to hold out for long enough? And if he does and he gets Hydras out on the field, does that put him ahead of sLivko?
It's a tough call to make. When you're going this Roach Hydra style, you're going to have a much higher supply. When you're going Mutaling, all of your minerals is going to Lings, and those aren't really supply-heavy units. Yeah. So it looks right now for the moment that Tefel has a huge supply lead. If he hits a timing attack around 160, 170 supply, before Ultras are out, he can take this game. Ling Muta's not going to do too well against Roach Hydra. Infestor. And that's exactly what Tefel's doing. I love the fact that he's confident enough to move out across the map right now. I think this is perfect decision making.
All right, well, this is about as good as it's going to get, and that's a really, really good summary, actually, of his strategy moving forward here. Hydra going to be taking out that Overlord in the middle of the map. sLivko knows exactly what's coming, of course. He's moving his army out, interestingly, into the middle of the map there. I'm not sure how much I like that positioning, and the Infestors are right there. Oh, good God, that fungal growth against a lot of those mutants. He's going to be able to chain fungal those. into Oblivion and back, and this is a terrible position for sLivko right now. All of these Mutalisks are in danger of collapse here. The Hydra's going to be picking off the last couple. And he does still have some left, but he's just racing home to try and defend right now, as Tefel looks like he wants to move in.
The one thing that went bad for Tefel in that engagement is he lost all of his infestors to banlings connecting with them. But something I'm really disappointed in sLivko for is he built all those extra drones. You don't need over 70 drones in this matchup for ZVZ. You can sit around 66, 64. He never built the spine color wall. That is very key when going a Ling Ultralist style, is to have the spine colors up to defend your bases. Third base is now under siege by Roaches. Banling's going to try and get a good connect with these Roaches, soften us up as many of them can. He desperately wants to save this hatchery, save his drone counts, more Lings and Mutas streaming in here. Will sLivko be able to clean this up? 18 Lings on the way, and 3 more Mutas. Drones are being picked off here. The hatchery looks like it will hold. Harvester's kill tab goes up to 12 for Tefel, and sLivko holds better than I thought he would.
It was, I mean, those Mutas there were just so absolutely key, even though it takes them a while to kill off the Roaches, especially with the Bounce Glaive as well. Just dancing those drones around, making sure those Roaches are in a position where the Mutas don't miss a shot. sLivko managing to hold that off. The supplies are more or less even right now. In the units lost tab, we can see that Tefel's actually lost a little bit more than sLivko, but he seems a lot more confident right now. Moving out across the map, you can see that constant stream of green coming across now, morphing in a decent number of Banelings and a fresh Roach Hydra attack. We'll have to see how well sLivko deals here with round 2, I guess.
Without fungal growth, it's all going to come down on the split on the Hydras. There are Ultralisks on the way, but there's no creep spread here to connect the bases. Keep in mind, it's 4 bases to 3. Same situation as last game. Banelings and League streaming for here, trying to get the connection with the Hydras. Banelings have to take out the Hydras if the Mutas want to win the air fight. They're getting okay connect so far, but it looks like Tefel is going to be crushing through this ground force here. Mutas are forced to fall back. A few Ultras are about to pop out, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be enough here. 174 supply to 132. Looks like we're going to be seeing a game number 3 as Tefel has played phenomenally this game. Great positioning, great fungal growth, and great controls all day. The Mutas look like they might just barely be able to edge out the Hydras here. It's such a close engagement. But there are so many Roaches in that natural mineral line, killing off all the drones. Lings popping out, Ultras coming in. I don't know if sLivko's going to be able to clean this up.
Yeah, the Mutas are definitely reigning supreme right now, and I think eventually sLivko will be able to clean this up. But the thing is, drones have been lost, and a lot of mining time has disappeared as well, and Tefel is going to try and continuously stream units across the map. I think Tefel will probably need to end up regrouping once he realizes that the Mutas are going to be able to clean up all of the Roaches, but until that point, he's just absolutely wreaking havoc in sLivko's base. He now enjoys a 40 supply lead, and look at this, Tefel does not want to let up the pressure, just a constant stream of green dots across the minimap.
Mutas finally cleaning up the Roaches in the main banks, but there are new units at that natural. Ultra engaging up against some Hydras. Good splits from Tefel to slow down the Ultra blast. Ultras trying their hardest to take out these Hydras. More are streaming in. The Muta count is so strong right now for sLivko, but again, the ground time and time again. Tefel is just winning this ground force. Going to go get some more drones here. Harvester's kill tab going up to 47, 48 drones killed. Wow.
Exactly. Yeah, the Mutas are able to pick off the Roaches, but not fast enough to prevent them from getting a lot of economic damage done. And that's really been the story of this mid-game here. sLivko trying to go for those quicker tech switches, trying to go up to those Ultralisks, and Tefel hitting that timing very, very sweetly here, just moving those units in at exactly the time where sLivko wouldn't have those Ultras available, where he would be at his most vulnerable, landing a couple of good fungals as well to boot, and that's just opened the floodgates here. The supply lead just continuing to grow. sLivko now down to 65 supply, and even though these Mutas are so good, Zoya, it's just not enough.
Yeah, he's desperately held on for so long, but 145 supply to 69 really says it all. Ultras cannot be built anymore. 6 more Mutas about to pop out. You know, the one thing that's going for sLivko is Tefel is almost mined out as natural. He's mined out in his main, and his third base is going to be mined out soon. Still no fourth base from him. But, you know, when you're down half the supply of your opponent, it doesn't really, I mean, if your opponent mines out, it doesn't make that big of a deal. More Mutas just gauging underneath Hydras here. Upgrades for these Mutas are 0-0. The ground force is 2-0, so these Hydras are chewing through these Mutalisks so fast.
And yeah, a lot more Hydralisks coming out now as well. Very Hydra heavy compared to the Roaches from before. sLivko just engaging so cost effectively with these Mutas. I'm sure if we added up the number of kills all of these Mutas have, one of them has 11 kills, Zoya. I don't remember the last time I've seen 11 kills on a single Mutalisk, and it's joined by other Mutas that have that many kills as well. Very cost effective, but I mean, there is a shred of hope that he can come back with these Mutas if he keeps picking off the Hydras 2 or 3 at a time. But it's just so hard for him right now.
Yeah, he's going to end up losing this third base. Only a few guys mining gas here. that can be sacrificed. I love how patiently he's waiting and using the Mutos to intercept forces here. Could have picked off a few Hydras there. This is primarily a Hydra force for the time being. He knows there's going to be no Ultras. That's when you want the Roaches out to tank some damage. But here we go. What could be the final engagement here? Banelings have to get some good connects here. They're coming forward. Great split from sLivko. Some decent connects go down on the Banelings, but will it be enough for sLivko to end up taking this fight? And all the Hydras do get cleaned up. Roach is going to be killing off more drones. You know, sLivko keeps holding on desperately, but I don't know how much longer he can keep this up.
Yeah, once again, sLivko able to win with the Mutalisk, just stopping the Hydras from doing any significant damage. But then, while he's dealing with the Hydras, the Roaches are just busy ravaging his mineral lines, and that's really been the story of this game repeatedly. The Mutas are good, but they can't hold the rest of the army back. They're fine if the armies are engaging each other directly, but Tefel is employing the Honey Badger Roaches. He doesn't care at all. He's just moving into the natural, moving into the main, picking off the third base, killing off as many workers as he possibly can. The number of workers killed has just gone past 100 for Tefel in this game, Zoya. 101 workers down, and that's really been the story.
Income tab, guys, 16 drones to 65. If sLivko was able to maintain that 40 count he had before, then it would have been so bad since he was up on bases versus his opponent. But at this point, 36 supply, they're 35. Tefel just needs to build Hydras. GG drop from sLivko. Tefel